Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E Life in Motion. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust. Serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. Cars Plus, Dodge Challenger, the undisputed champion. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedido. Always open, always local.
A Catholic school phys ed teacher accused of sexual assault. Crystal Paco has that story. Plus, Isa Baza with the latest on enrollment issues at Guahan Academy Charter School. And Valerie Maige tells you about an exhibit exploring the island's relationship with water. And with that, we wish you half a day and good evening, everybody. If you're watching us live on KUAM TV or streaming us on Facebook Live, thank you so much for tuning in. Now to a follow-up story on sexual molestation allegations coming out of a local Catholic school. We've got new details coming to light after the accused teacher who worked for the Sinahanya campus for more than a decade has appeared in court. It's tonight's top story with Crystal Paco.
A Catholic school teacher under fire. Bishop M. Gardner Memorial Catholic School's Peregrine Perry St. Nicholas appeared in court via video teleconference from the Hagåtña lockup.
Second-degree criminal sexual conduct, 3 counts of that in violation of Guam Law 9 GCA sections 25.20A1 and B. For child abuse in violation of 9 GCA sections 31.30A2C and B. And for harassment.
The PE teacher was arrested on Wednesday after a parent reported him to the school earlier that morning. According to court documents, the 10-year-old girl alleges he touched her multiple times in her breast area between January and March of this year. The most recent incident, she said, occurred last Friday. St. Nicholas allegedly asked her to stay back after class. When she asked classmates to stay back with her in hopes that, quote, he won't do it, end quote, the teacher would send them back to the locker room. When confronted by a classmate who called her out for acting differently, the victim reportedly broke down and cried and confided in 2 classmates. When interviewed by police, St. Nicholas confirmed he did ask the victim to stay back after class last Friday, stating he placed his right arm around her right shoulder while he talked to her. Any touch of her chest area, he claimed, was accidental. Court documents further state, quote, he may have unintentionally moved his right hand down towards her chest area because they were walking, causing imbalance of his hand, end quote. As for keeping the girl after class, he says he was discussing her, quote, participation and a certain student who was bothering her, end quote. While he won't be returning back to school anytime soon, parties argued whether he should stay in jail. Prosecutor Basil O'Malley recommending a $20,000 bail amount.
If you're involved with a 10-year-old student, he was in a position of authority over this student, we believe will be a continuing threat to the victim and to other children on the island.
Defense attorney Joshua Walsh.
Mr. St. Nicholas has been in this community for 52 years. He has 35 years of work without any criminal record, any sort of allegations.
The court ultimately decided to release St. Nicholas on house arrest to third-party custodians on a $10,000 performance bond. According to a release from the Archdiocese of Hagåtña, St. Nicholas was placed on administrative leave effective Wednesday. They add, quote, the Archdiocese and Bishop M. Gardner administration assure parents of Bishop M. Gardner students that the school has followed appropriate measures. We take all allegations of sexual abuse very seriously and are all committed to ensuring the safety of all children entrusted to our care, end quote. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
Thanks, Crystal. The remaining defendants charged with killing bodyboarder Brian Cruz will head to trial soon. But first, defendant Richard Regadio will have to answer to allegations of violating a stay-away order. Regadio, J.C. White, and Alfredo Castro all appeared in court today. Regadio previously pleaded guilty to hindering apprehension as a misdemeanor with no jail time. Though a trial for White and Castro was scheduled for next week, attorneys noted scheduling conflicts. Regadio will appear in court on September 7th. A pretrial conference for White and Castro in the meantime is set for September 28th.
The third man charged with the attempted murder of DEPCOR detainee Justin Meno appeared in court today. Peter Gines pleaded not guilty to the charges, with attorney Sam Decker noting that his intent to file a motion to sever Gines' case from co-defendants Jeremiah Isizaki and Albert Santos II. All 3 of those men were housed in the Post 6 unit, with Meno found brutally beaten and hogtied. Now, it's worth noting that Post 6 is maximum security. A return date has been set for the 14th of September.
One local judge disqualifies himself from hearing the case against former members of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority Board. Judge Michael Berdalio advised parties on Thursday there's a relative among the defendants. Chief Prosecutor Joseph McDonald explained that is expected.
There's a lot of defendants, and each court is going to have to decide how they're going to determine whether or not they need to be recused.
Former GURA board members Cecile Suda, David Sablon, Deanne Torrey, John Elau, Roland Selvage, Rosie Ann Bloss, and current GURA Executive Director Michael Duenas are accused of holding secret board meetings. Elau today filed a motion to sever from his co-defendants who, according to court papers, provided self-incriminating statements to investigators. Court filings further state that Elau was not part of the GURA board during the low-income tax credits portion, which was specified in the complaint.
Moving in this evening's rundown, we have a new development we want to tell you in that elaborate scheme to smuggle drugs and contraband into prison. We've, of course, previously reported that among those arrested was the Department of Corrections head of Internal Affairs.
In response, the Legislative Public Safety Chair wants more done to make sure those who investigate their own are kept in check as well. KUAM's Nick Delgado reports.
Restoring integrity in the island's law enforcement.
We're looking to diversify.
Today, Public Safety Chair Senator Talina Nelson recommending that the Post Commission develop a unit that handles standards for internal affairs with all law enforcement agencies on Guam.
There's no real clear picture of the way things are done with the IA,
Yes, ma'am.
And so we do need to address, that's a huge gap, and we've seen it most recently.
The lawmakers' concern follows last week's arrest of several Department of Corrections officers allegedly involved in a scheme to bring drugs and contraband into the prison. The highest ranking among the group, Lieutenant Jeff Limo, who also led DEPCOR's internal affairs. Post-commission members entertained the discussion during today's meeting.
One little blemish like this goes a long way to knocking us down, and it just so happens that the situation that happened last week is going to leave a bad taste in our mouths. I think sometimes we become, at some point, a little complacent, and I think that this is actually a good idea, at least to open the dialogue, to ensure that everybody's aware that there are certain things that are going on.
Would you have two entities overseeing the action of an officer, taking final disposition of an officer? One is the chief's action, the other is the commission's action. The other question in mind would be the fear of the politicizing the action on a particular officer.
You can assign anybody to IA, and now what am I going to do? But if we standardize what is their role in IA.
Officials will discuss the issue further at a later date. For now, Nelson says ultimately the idea was brought up with one goal in mind.
This is to protect our public safety officers, right? To make sure that everything is above board.
Its protection, she hopes, would prevent more incidents like the one at DOC. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Nick Delgado.
Also tonight, it was a drill for an attack that would shut down the American airbase on Guam. North Korean media reported that after that country fired off an intermediate range missile earlier this week that flew 1,700 miles over Japan before landing in the Pacific. President Donald Trump responded with anger, tweeting, quote, "Talking is not the answer." His response reportedly ruled out any possibility that negotiations would end the tensions with North Korea. Though Secretary of Defense James Mattis stated, quote, "We are never out of diplomatic solutions," today American troops shot down a medium-range ballistic missile off the coast of Hawaii as part of a test conducted amid heightened regional tensions with North Korea.
The commanding general of the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command, U.S. Army Strategic Command, recently visited the Missile Defense Battery on Guam as part of his battlefield circulation in the Pacific. Staff Sergeant Mariko Frazee files this report.
The commanding general of U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command and Army Forces Strategic Command, Lieutenant General James Dickinson, visited the THAAD, or Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System on Guam, as part of his battlefield circulation in the Pacific. The THAAD is a land-based, globally and rapidly deployable ballistic missile defense system with the capability to intercept and destroy ballistic missiles during their final, or terminal, phase of flight.
I'll tell you, I've got great confidence in the weapon system. I've got great confidence in the soldiers who operate that weapon system. The weapon system itself has gone 15 for 15 in all the missile defense tests that it has executed over the last 12 to 15 years. and it has defeated everything from a short-range ballistic missile to an intermediate-range ballistic missile.
Approximately 250 personnel make up Task Force Talon, a team consisting of deployed soldiers coming from Hawaii and Fort Bliss, Texas, as well as other U.S. Army Pacific units, all working together as one cohesive team to protect Guam day and night.
I'd just like to add that I'm very proud of the soldiers that are here performing this mission 24/7, 365, not only in the defense of Guam, but all the air and missile defenders we have around the world doing the same type of mission.
The Department of Defense first deployed the THAAD system to Guam in April 2013 to strengthen the U.S. regional defense posture. Staff Sergeant Mariko Frazee, Anderson Air Force Base, Guam.
Well, local and military officials cannot stress enough the importance for island residents and their families alike to be prepared for any natural or man-made disaster which may occur on our island. In a ceremony this afternoon, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio, alongside Homeland Security Advisor Colonel George Charfris, as well as military officials, declared September to be National Preparedness Month with the theme, Disasters Don't Plan Ahead, You Can.
If each of us are individually prepared, our families are prepared, we have a family communications plan, we rehearse it, and we have a preparedness kit ready to go, that all adds up and it makes us stronger.
Charfris emphasized the confidence he has in the island's safety and security.
And Charfris is actually going to be the guest on Cruising with KUAM on Monday at 6:30 p.m. with Isa Baza, so you'll definitely want to make sure to stay tuned for that.
Yeah. We will be right back after this.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on. And the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need wherever you are. Calvo's Select Care, health care that's always there for you.
Activate a new account at IT&E and get double data on the network that gives you more.
Hyundai's summer clearance event is happening now at Guam's best dealership, Cars Plus and Mighty. With financing as low as 1.99%. There's no better time to drive a new Hyundai Accent, ranked highest in initial quality, starting at just $11,995. Or the new Hyundai Elantra starting at $16,995. SUV lovers, check out the new Hyundai Tucson starting at $19,995. Plus, every new Hyundai gets Guam's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. It's our Hyundai summer clearance event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Chuck E. Cheese's Guam is not all fun and games. Our pizza is delicious with the freshest toppings, oven-baked to order. Try the fresh salad bar, sandwiches, and don't forget our mouth-watering wings. Come and eat at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
At Shell, it's about offering more than just fuel. It's about providing service to people. From hot coffees to warm welcomes, from clean bathrooms to fresh food, we're on a mission to make you leave happier than when you arrived. So whatever your journey, we're here. Welcome to service. Welcome to Shell. Serving the islands for over 30 years. Share your story at Shell Foodies Guam on Instagram and Facebook. Hashtag Station Stories, hashtag Shell Guam.
Connect with KUAM News. Find us on your favorite social media platform. Follow us and stay in the know with Guam's news leader.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It has now been exactly 2 years to the day since the huge explosion and fire that took out two of Guam's largest baseload generators. The Cabras 3 and 4 units have never come back online, and GPA says it continues to work toward a final insurance settlement. It's our next report with Nestor Lecanto.
The August 31st, 2015 blast knocked out a combined 80 megawatts. GPA was forced to make up the huge shortfall by firing up old mothballed units, asking companies to turn on their private generators, and by bringing in temporary generators that remain to this day. General Manager John Benavente says all this time they've managed to keep load shedding down to less than 1%.
I'd like to thank the ratepayers and people of Guam for their patience as we went through this difficult period.
Was it equipment malfunction, a lack of maintenance, human error? Benavente declined to discuss the specific cause of the explosion. He says insurance adjusters are still grinding out a final agreement. So far, GPA has received an $80 million payout on a $300 million policy.
The cause of the explosion is, again, that's a very complex process because gathering information which were totally destroyed, it was very difficult to make the final determinations.
He expects a final settlement within months, and it's unlikely the units will be re-energized. GPA has about 400 megawatts of capacity now, which Benavente says can still be a challenge, but is manageable as they work in the next 4 years to add more generation.
We do have to build that new 180 megawatt power plant, and which will allow us to really retire the older plants.
The 4 Cabras units were once the mainstays of the island-wide power system. 1 and 2 were built in the mid-70s. 3 and 4 came online in the mid-90s. Once they're torn down and the site cleaned up, Benavente says the prime property next to the port can be developed into an alternative revenue source. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
There is no evidence of tuberculosis that's been found in any of the more than 180 babies screened after they were potentially exposed to an active case of TB at the nursery at the Guam Memorial Hospital. Agency Administrator Peter John Camacho confirms over 100 adults were also screened as part of the response effort, and the results are pending. Yet public health officials continue to have issues contacting families of the 317 infants based on telephone numbers listed on medical records. The hospital does plan to mail out those notices to those unreachable by phone. Parents with kids born at GMH between April 1st and August 8th and whose contact information has changed since then, you are encouraged to contact the hospital. Their number is 647-2552. That's 647-2552.
The island's first charter school may be facing an enrollment dilemma this year after it enrolled more than 260 students than budgeted for. Isa Baza has the story.
Guam Academy Charter School may be facing an issue with over-enrollment. While the school was approved for an increase in enrollment by the Charter School Council from 740 students to 1,015 students this school year, the budget passed by the Guam legislature on Wednesday allows for 270 students less than what was anticipated. However, Board Liaison Marilyn Manabusin confirmed that the school has already enrolled the over 1,000 students it was projecting.
I think the student count now is 406 over at the middle school, high school, and 600. That's a total of 1,016 now, if I'm not mistaken.
In response, the school's Board of Trustees unanimously voted to write a letter to the Guam legislature, and planned meetings are in the works. During the first Guam Academy Charter School Council meeting in over half a year held Thursday morning, several other issues were brought up with the Tidsin Charter School. One major topic of concern was the late start for middle and high school students, as well as plans to expand the school to a second location in the Tidsin area. School officials mentioned water pressure was one factor leading to the delayed start. Board of Trustee Victor Perez and Charter School Council Chair Amanda Blas.
We have plans to open on Tuesday, September 5th, and we've been working with the various agencies that authorize the permitting process, and so far so good. It looks like Tuesday's when we'll open.
I did bring up that is there enough school curriculum days? Is there enough curriculum days with the late start? They will get back to us on whether that will be an issue. During the meeting they said that it shouldn't be, but they'll bring it back as well. We also talked a little bit about their new location as well.
The school plans to open a new facility for middle and high school students at the old DMV in Tidsin. However, the Guam Fire Department has expressed issue over the lack of fire protection requirements at the extension, including sprinklers and a fire alarm system. Though school officials maintain they would be able to open on time, Blah says the council is planning an additional work session with school officials for further updates. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Isa Baza.
We should note the school faced a similar issue with over-enrollment in 2015 when it enrolled 26 students more than what was budgeted for by the Guam legislature.
Well, the fiscal and legal teams over at the executive branch are currently reviewing the $959 million budget. Amended Substitute Bill 22 passed by lawmakers midweek. The governor's spokespeople say the administration was not privy to the substituted budget prior to it being placed on session floor, adding they're aware that huge cuts remain.
We're going to need to go through and see, if the funds that were appropriated meet the needs of the agencies to secure, to ensure rather that the missions, are actually going to be able to be executed, as required, because. It costs money to provide services. It costs money for manpower, for police officers to be out on the street, to have, our firefighters and our ambulances, go out and, perform rescues.
Lawmakers did vote 12-3 for a one-year budget as opposed to the initially proposed biennial budget.
Roads have since reopened, but if you were driving past the Guam International Airport this morning, you probably ran into this. It happened around 10:15 a.m. First responders getting a call after workers bushcutting in the area found an unexploded ordnance at the intersection of Route 10A near the airport. Traffic was slow moving as airport police shut down a portion of the roadway. Anderson's explosive ordnance disposal unit responded and secured the device just after 11:30 without incident.
Well, just go with the flow is a saying that goes with this next story, as Valerie Maige shows you something that's new opening today at the Guam Museum.
Agua, tubig, hanum, water. It's the focus of the latest exhibit showing a significant part of our island living.
Water's embedded in our history, in Chamorro history, in our culture today, which is a diverse, multicultural society. So it's significant as a resource. We need to engage in stewardship and protecting that resource.
Kimberly Keeling, Executive Director for Humanities Guahan, says water is the focus for two new exhibits at the Guam Museum. The first, the Smithsonian National Exhibit, Water Ways. The second, the Guam Companion Exhibit, Hita Ihanum, We Are Water. The national exhibit tackles much broader issues that face the nation, including the environmental, biological, cultural, and spiritual nature of water. But Hita Ihanum brings things closer to home.
We then look at more of the cultural and historical aspects of water here in Guam and for the Chamorro people. And then we also end with looking at remembering water, which deals with the ways in which Chamorros and other residents of Guam tell stories and legends around water, but also different Chamorro practices.
The exhibit also includes other forms of expression, including photos, jewelry, carvings, paintings, and glasswork. It's work from local artists Josh Agerstrand and Mark Muir.
There's so many important cultural practices that are associated with water, from navigating to contemporary canoe paddling to fishing, and these just aren't sports. These are deeply embedded in Chamorro culture and history.
A history rich in sharing how those before us made use of this vital resource. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Valerie Maige.
The exhibit opened today and runs through Sunday, the October 29th at the Guam Museum.
Stay tuned. Sports is coming up next, but first, here's your weather forecast.
From the network that brought you up to 3 times more data comes the dawn of a new data. The epic story of Guam's only network brave enough to give 10 free gigs of bonus data on every line every month to customers who bundle their services. Reviewers are calling the offer totes awesome. Best deal ever. And yes.
Visit gta.net for details.
I prepare.
I train. Through strength, determination, and focus, I work hard to achieve my goals. That's why I secure my future with Alpha Insurers.
This is what makes you an Alpha.
For 20 years, Matson has been an important part of our everyday lives. Bringing in the cars we drive, the food we eat, and the materials that helped build our homes. From caring for our land through the Adaki Itanu program to generously supporting our local charities, Matson has contributed to the preservation and growth of our island. On behalf of those you've served throughout your 20 years on Guam, Kidzas Ma'asi, Matson.
Welcome back, Grandma. Wow.
I did a lot of shopping in Italy, and I met a nice man.
Ciao. Gino.
Da
Italia.
He's Italian.
Very cool.
Buick now has an SUV for that. The new Buick Envision. One of 3 luxury SUVs from the new Buick.
Get 15% below MSRP on all 2017 Envision preferred vehicles. That's over $5,600 on this Envision. Visit AutoSpot Buick today.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
Off today, Guam, Chris Barnett with Sports. Women's Thursday, woohoo! Proudly brought to you by Triple J. Coming up on the show, Burr, Pick'em, ha, 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 Pick'em. Pigskin Pick'ems is back, but first, soccer moms, soccer dads, you know the deal. Over 1,500 players from close to 150 teams taking to the pitch for the Triple J Auto Group Robbie Weber Youth Soccer League fall season at the Guam Football Association fields right here in H-Town, Harmon. The season begins September 9th with age divisions from U6 to U18 for co-ed. There will be an all-girls division for U13 players. Games running from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays. Triple J on-site opening day with games for a chance to win prizes. Amateur Woodbat League playoffs this weekend at Leo Palace. Saturday with games 3 and 6 p.m. On Sunday, 3 games played with the first game of the day beginning at 12 noon. And you can check out the full schedule on Facebook, Strike Zone Guam. Guam Amateur Baseball also kicking off the IIAG preseason high school baseball tournament in October. The group expecting 8 teams to participate in the single elimination tournament. Following the high school tournament will be the Pony League Series for players ages 14 and under, 12 and under, 10 and under, along with a girls softball tournament at the Ukudu Field. Guam Amateur Baseball also working with Special Olympics Guam to start a softball program on October 28th to be held every Saturday until December 2nd, culminating with a big jamboree on December 2nd at the Ukudu Baseball Field. All right, KUAM.com, so easy, Pigskin Pick'ems. And remember, totally randomly, we're going to be raffling off Uno magazine every week. And, weekly winners get props and recognized on 994 FM's Facebook. It's so easy. I just connect with my Facebook, just like that. Hope you didn't see my password. All right, once you're registered, you click on your picks here. All right, click on My Picks. We'll go here and enter our picks. Still got a little time. You register at KUAM.com. And we got great chances for you to win all kinds of stuff this year. Some people put a little more thought into it. Got to pick the Colts. Zach Banner, baby. And real important here, do not forget to save your picks. Also real important here, Monday night games. Make sure you pick the total points scored for the game, because that's a tiebreaker in the event of any ties week to week. So total points scored for the game between Chargers and Broncos. I think that's going to be a light 'em up. Let's go with 48. My picks are saved. Week 1. Get at it, man. KUAM.com, Pigskin Pick'ems, your chance to win Uno magazines. And I get those bragging rights on 994 Facebook. And remember, we're going all season long. So pick them and win them. Pigskin Pick'ems. I really feel like this is my year. I think this is the year I'm going to finish in the top 200. I just got this feeling. Hey, my name is Chris. Remember, tomorrow, Business Friday. Whoa! Till then, adios!
Put $500 in your backpack during Nissan's Back to School Relief event. Purchase a new Nissan with payments starting as low as $76 per pay period and get $500 cash back. School supplies, uniforms, lunches, load it all up in a new Nissan, including the kids. With payments starting as low as $76 per pay period and with $500 cash back, you get an A+. For more back to school deals, go to NissanGuam.com or see your favorite sales associate at Nissan Upper Tumon.
48 hours. That's all we get in a week. But those 48 hours, we try to make them last forever. How? By filling in fast with all the right stuff. With a lot of laughter, a little drama, some adventure, and a whole lot of love.
Dad, Mom's here.
It happens pretty quick.
Bye, Dad.
But it's cool. Because the rest of the week, we talk about our plans.
You want to go to the beach?
On how to make the next 48 hours last us a lifetime.
Go back happy with Triple J. For a limited time, receive a free $500 Kmart gift certificate on